Ahoy hoy! Welcome to Krautsalat. I am Eric, an American living in Hanover, Germany, which is where we are today because I've been asked many times, why Hanover? It's so boring. Hanover's the most boring city in Germany. Well, I want to show you that it's not the most boring city in Germany. I really love this city, and so I'm going to take you on a little tour. I'm going to show you some things about Hanover. Here we go. Today I'm at the Halpinhof, Hanover's center point, so to speak. If you come into Hanover, this is likely where you're going to come into. This square here that I'm standing in is the Ernst August Platz, named after that guy right over there. Ernst August, the King of Hanover. And here, one of the two more prominent meeting points in Hanover, unterm Schwanz, under the tail. One little fun fact, Hanover is a UNESCO City of Music. We got music coming out of the storm drains. But I don't like this. Yeah, that's better. Here I'm at the second most popular meeting point in Hanover, Krupka, named after the old Cafe Krupka. This is said to be the most center point in Hanover. Below us is the station, the Krupka station, where the Straßenbahn and the U-Bahn meet. And this is probably the only place in Hanover where I really get lost. So I stay away from it. Well, here is the Hanover shopping zone, but today's Sunday, it's a bit quiet, so it gives me more space to ride around. The one thing I love about Hanover are all the statues and monuments and what they represent. Covers the board, history, art. Here are the nanas, one of Hanover's most signature sightseeing objects. I wanted to know a little bit more about these. I learned that they were built in 1974 by the artist Niki de Saint-Phale. I also learned that nana in French represents a independent, powerful woman. And when Niki built these in 1974, it was really intended to be a women's empowerment type thing. Another nice thing to know. The more you know. Hanover's Altstadt. In front of me is the River Linne. Here behind me is the Beginnenturm. This thing dates back to the 1300s and was part of the original Hanover City Wall. Now, I was told that here in the Turm used to be an awesome pub. Like, I can only imagine. Why did they close it? Come on, Hanover, open this up again. Another nice little thing about Hanover, along the river, both sides, every Saturday, Hanover's got a massive Flowmark. If you're looking for some cool old things, this is the place to go. But something else, you see in the street over there, Hanover's got something a little bit more notorious. Somewhere right about there was the home of the Hanover butcher, Fritz Haarmann. Here in the Hanover Altstadt, the old city, we have the Brohan House, one of the oldest houses in Hanover, built in the 1400s. Here at the center of the Altstadt is the Marktkirche, built in the late 1300s. This thing is 97 meters high. And here's Martin Luther, but not the real one. The backside of the Marktkirche has a pentagram. Next to the Marktkirche is the Altis Rathaus. This thing was built in the 1400s, and it was used as the town hall until 1863, when they moved over to the Neues Rathaus. Hanover's Neues Rathaus. Construction on this began in 1901, and it took about 12 years, completed in 1913. This thing stands about the same height as the Marktkirche. I'm a bit curious if they did that on purpose, or if that was just coincidence. The cost of this thing was 10 million mark. I don't know exactly how much that is, but it seems like it was a lot of money. And from the look of this building, I guarantee it was. The Hanover Landtag, built in 1637. This was the home of the kings for a while. It became like the Parliament House for Lower Saxony. King George of Great Britain was born basically in this spot. That's kind of cool because in the US, there were never any kings or history going back, 500 or 600 years. That's pretty cool. And the Landtag. Now, how many of you know about the Göttinger Sieben? A few hundred years ago, the new king of Hanover was coming in, and a lot of people didn't like his politics, and he wanted to change the constitution. And these guys from Göttingen, they were some professors at the university. They kind of had the balls to step up and say, hey, no, we disagree with what you're doing in changing the constitution. Sadly, they lost their protest, obviously against the king. 3 of them were actually kicked out of the Hanover kingdom. And here, I think these 2 might be the Brothers Grimm. Maybe. I'm standing in front of the stadium where the Hannover 96 play. I'm not going to talk about them. I want to talk about the Schützenplatz, which is kind of behind the camera across the street. I wanted to go there, and I was hoping that it was going to be open and empty because there's no fest going on. But at the moment, Hanover is doing Autokino. So literally at the moment right now, they've got a big concert. I don't know who's performing. The Schützenplatz is filled with cars right now. And you hear the honking, that's the cheering, I guess. But I want to talk about the Schützenplatz because Hanover has got the largest Schützenfest of its kind. It's also the location for multiple festivals, the Frühlingsfest, the Oktoberfest. A little known fact, Hanover has got the 2nd largest Oktoberfest celebration behind Munich. Let's go on to the next spot. Hanover's Marschsee. This is a very popular centerpiece of Hanover for the residents, locals, and tourists alike. Because of its center location and near the Rathaus, a short walk from the center, everyone loves coming here, especially on a nice day. It's the home of the Marschsee Fest. They have many events around here throughout the year. It was made during a rough time in Germany's history. You might hear that the wrong people take credit for it, but the history of the planning and building began, I think, in the early 1920s. It took quite some time to build this, and it needed extra money, extra funding. So a certain political group came into power, and they liked the idea, so they built it and they take credit for it. Hanover loves this, and Hanover knows that the history goes beyond these guys. Here in this location used to be all swampland because nearby is the rivers Linne and Immer. They had to build this. It had something to do with the water flow. It was connecting to the rivers, and they had to control a lot of the overflow, like for the heavy rains. Here we have one of Hanover's beautiful centerpieces. Another very notable location in Hanover is the Leibniz University. With over 30,000 students here studying, it is the 2nd largest university in Niedersachsen. And another Schwanz. What is it with Hanover and these horses? Well, I've learned that this one in particular is the one that's used on the Niedersachsen crest. And I learned that the guy that made the crest hung himself because he forgot to add the tongue. So how is this for a change of scenery? We are in the Island Rita. This is Hanover's city park, basically. This is a forest within the city. Believe it or not, we are within the city of Hanover. The Island Rita is about 642 hectares. Now, to give you an idea of how big this size is, it's about double the size of Central Park in New York City. It's also about double the size of the Wacken Festival grounds. So you know this is quite big. The beauty of this is something that I have learned Hanoverians really appreciate. You will probably see some people going by in the background on a beautiful day like this. This is the most popular place to be in Hanover. Perhaps that's a secret. I don't know. You have to live here to know it. As I said, the beauty, the Island Rita has given Hanover the title of the greenest city in Germany. This is something that I have learned. Again, the Hanoverians are very proud of this, for good reason. It's a beautiful spot, beautiful location. I myself also love coming here on a nice day. Like, you can hear the birds. It's beautiful. So if you visit Hanover, this is definitely something worth checking out and enjoying, because we are right in the middle of the city. Something to love and something to appreciate, as the Hanoverians really do. Now we're at the Heuser Schloss, and all around this place is the Heuser Gardens. I think I'm getting some ideas for the next house to live in. Wonder if they got room for my band to play in there. I think so. The walls need to be black though. A small example of the cool things that they have here at the gardens is this thing. The world's oldest potted plant. Look at this. It's fucking older than the United States. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Hanover. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I gave you some good reasons to come and visit, and you'll see why I love living here. And don't forget to subscribe. Look us up on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, Feierabend.